Hi, my name is Abby. I'm one of the tutors here for the STEM Maths program at Santa Monica College. And today I'm joined by Daniel Rocha, who is the tutor for the instructional math for the Adelante Black Collegians program. Daniel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing real good today, Abby. Thank you for asking. I'm looking forward to, conducting this interview with you. Yeah.
So let's start by asking you, how did you get your degree, and can you tell us more about your info from university?
Yeah, so I'm actually also a community college student. I transferred from Los Angeles Southwest College. So I was able to transfer out to UCLA, and I got my bachelor's degree in applied math. Right now I'm actually in the middle of my master's program at UCLA as well, so I'm doing it in applied statistics and data science right there.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just like you guys, I'm a transfer student going to community college, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Nice. And as for what subjects do you tutor here? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the subjects that I tutor here actually, I'm capable of tutoring like pretty much anything math related. So I do the finite math, I do statistics, Calc 1, Calc 2, pre-calc, the college algebra, the trigonometry, all of that. I will admit right here in the space though, we don't get anything really past Calc 2, so I'd say, anything above that I am a little rusty with, but we can work on it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what would you say, out of all of these courses that you teach, what's your favorite thing about math?
Oh, well, out of all the courses that I guess I tutor in, my favorite ones would definitely be like linear algebra and statistics. So right now that I'm doing data science, like that's all I really work with there, like linear algebra and statistics. But in terms of like what I like or enjoy about math is probably its versatility and its applications. Like when you speak to any math major, we all have different experiences. You get me? Like
yes.
Some of us specialize in all of us specialize in something different. You get me? Like you have your pure mathematicians who are into just the theory and just love working with just math all day, right? But then you have your mathematicians who are more into like finance, so they're studying like financial mathematics, or you have your like people like engineers, right, who are using math in their workflow as well. And then like me, for instance, I was never really good at, or not too hot at physics, right? So I ended up going down like more the statistics route. So that's why I'm currently doing like statistics and data science, But that's why I really like it, I feel like there's so many avenues to head down, but it's all about like where you end up, where that kind of dictates what path you go down, you get me?
Mm-hmm. And that coincides with your favorite subjects that you tutor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, seriously. So that's why I'm actually doing this degree, just because it's, it's like the intersection of what I tutor here all the time and like one of my passions, stats. Yeah.
Question, how did you decide to enter math?
Ooh, okay. That's a good question. So, like I mentioned, I was a community college student. So, to me, community college was almost like a second opportunity at pursuing education again. I had gotten rejected by every single college I had applied to in high school. And so when I entered community college, I was originally a biology major. But that first semester just went, it was terrible. Like I did not like my biology professor. But during that first semester, I was also enrolled into intermediate algebra, which is, I guess, what some people may refer to as like a more remedial math course, which all the community colleges have kind of like gone away with. But I was actually doing somewhat well in my intermediate algebra class. So I knew I wanted to do something STEM, so I had to take more classes, and I found myself taking, I think college algebra and trigonometry simultaneously in a semester. And it just so happened that professor, not only was he the chair of the math department, but he was my professor for trig and my college algebra class. And so, like I said, I was in both of his classes, and I guess I kind of made him make note of me. And I think kind of just having him acknowledge the fact that like, hey dude, I see that you're in both of these classes, and him acknowledging like you're doing pretty well made me feel good about myself, you know. And so later on down the line, he recognized that part of me, and he eventually also offered me like a position to tutor, you know, like you. And that kind of like helped me build a lot of my confidence and made me feel like, hey, you know, like although Bio's not working out, the way math is working out, like it's going pretty well, you know, like I feel really accepted in the field. And now I'm even getting the opportunity to tutor it, and that's kind of how I entered the field, you know. It really just started out with my professor, I guess, kind of seeing something in me, if you will. But yeah, like, so I ended up tutoring, and I loved it. And so I knew I definitely wanted to take the math route instead. Like I said, bio wasn't going too well. So I ended up pivoting. Yeah, that's how I got into math.
And you had that connection already from having taken both of those courses with the same professor, which was probably like the great lift off.
Yeah, no, and it was because I also got the chance to take Calc 1 with him, so that was really dope, you know, like he was there throughout like a lot of my math experience. And yeah, like I don't think if I had that interaction with that professor, I don't know where I'd be at right now, you know. So yeah, shout out to Dr. Sakian at Southwest College. He's a goat. Yeah, he's great.
So having tutored for this long, how long have you been tutoring for?
Oh, dude, I've been tutoring since 2019, man. So this is what it's 2026 now. So I guess this is like my seventh year doing like tutoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while that I've been doing this, you know. But what was your question again? Sorry about that.
So tutoring for 7 years now. How have you been able to balance this work and school life?
Oh, I see. I mean, I think when I was in my undergrad, it was a little bit more manageable. You know, it was more of like a part-time job, so I think it was easier to juggle like that part-time role and my schoolwork. But now that I'm in my graduate program, dude, honestly, like I don't know how I don't know how I do it, honestly.
It's second nature.
Yeah, it's sort of just second nature, you know. But I think a lot of it has to do with like, anytime I have any downtime, a lot of what I'm doing is going to be dedicated to my studies, you know. Especially since the program I'm doing right now is like it's out of pocket, you know. Like it's you know like it's
gotta make it worth.
Yeah, I gotta make it worth it. So like not only is there that like that aspect of it that this is coming out of pocket, that really motivates me. Like, hey, dude, like you know, don't mess this up.
Lock in.
Yeah, lock in, exactly, right. But there's also like this goal to like want to do more, you know. Like my goal is to ultimately teach at the community college level at some point. So I know I have to get through this program, and that's something I plan on doing sometime soon. But yeah, honestly, I honestly I don't know how I do it. I think it's all about like priorities, you know. So my priority is getting through this master's program. So like I said, like I don't know, maybe it's a bad habit, but yeah, I like if it's not school related, I have no problem like putting it to the side or kind of like disregarding it, you know. But it's all about priorities, you know.
Yeah.
Priorities. Yep.
It's good that you maintain that primary focus on your master's program.
I appreciate that. No, it's tough, you know. Like you know, I mean, you're a student. You run into instances like that all the time where you want to be here,
Yeah.
but you got to be there, you know. So it's like, what do? You know, I would hope you're going towards, you know, the thing that's going to help you in your academics, you know. But it's tricky, you know. You got to look for instances to also have fun. So I get it, you know. I get it.
Yeah.
But you know, everything got to balance it out, you know.
Can you tell us one thing from tutoring here that was your favorite at SMC as an instructional math tutor?
Honestly, like one of my favorite things about working as an instructional math tutor right here at SMC is it's honestly the students, you know. I think that's my favorite part about working with here. It's getting to interact with students and being able to be a part of their academic journey. You know, like I went through community college as well, so everybody that comes in here, like I see a little bit of myself in them, you know. And so the goal is to help them out and just help them kind of maneuver this maneuver higher education, because there's a lot of things that I wish I would have done differently. So I love having the opportunity to get to share that with students, like, hey, academics isn't everything, like at some point you're gonna have to start looking for an internship, make sure you're prioritizing things like that, but 100% it's the students, it's getting to work with them, yeah.
And also by instructing them and tutoring them, you also give them the motivation, sort of, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of just teaching them a little bit more about math and its applications, like I meet psychology students all the time, and a lot of times they just want to get through it, right? Like they just want to get through that stats class they have to take and put it past them, but like, I know how important stats really is going to be in the long run, If you're doing psychology, you're more than likely going to have to pursue a master's eventually.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to do some research, so you're going to want to have a good grasp of that stats, But I feel like that's not something a lot of, like, your professors will tell you, or even a counselor will tell you, But, being in the field and, like, being out on the job market as well, like, I'm able to share those experiences with them, or, like, tell them how to like, navigate these moments, and, like, make the most out of them, I guess, yeah.
Moving on to some more about college tips. Is there anything that your tutoring services entail more specifically?
So the tutoring service right here through Adelante and Black Collegians, we offer in-person tutoring, we do online tutoring, we do group tutoring as well, and we also offer what I like to call appointment-only days. So, like right here in the space, I'm a one-man team. Thankfully, I have a student tutor this semester, so I have that extra hand. But for the longest, it was just me by myself, right? Mm-hmm. So in instances like that where I just have like walk-ins, maybe 4 students coming in at once, 6 students coming in at once, like I gotta bounce between everyone that's here,
Yeah.
And I understand that could be a little frustrating, like, oh dude, like I want to work with Daniel maybe for like 30 minutes. So I went ahead and kind of like made these appointment-only days like an option for students. So I do them 2 days out the week where I'm able to work with the student like one-on-one for like an hour and kind of just have that one-on-one session with them, because I know sometimes like the 30-minute sessions at the math lab aren't enough. Yeah, exactly. So I like giving them that option. Not only do I host them in person, but I also host them online. But what pursuing tutoring entails, honestly, it's a commitment, Like I think for students to really make the most out of it, I think it's important to show up regularly, like make yourself known. I mean, like the same way you should be doing that in the classroom setting.
Yes.
Like you should do that in tutoring as well. Like make yourself seen to the tutor. Like, hey, I want to get through this math class, and I feel like it's easier to just build that relationship with one another. But yeah, that's what the tutoring service is right here, I guess, sort of entail. Yeah.
You mentioned that tutoring gets you more familiar, for students to be more familiar with the tutor, in this case you. So what would you say students should do further to make themselves comfortable in math? Because math can be a very extraneous concept and very tiring.
Oh no, I agree 100%. That's a really loaded question, I'm not gonna lie, but I think what's important is to immerse yourself, like immerse yourself in the space. And I know that can be a lot to ask for, but I feel when you really immerse yourself in this, in math, that's when you kind of make the most out of the experience, like get to know the people in your class. I feel like a lot of the times, at least in my experience going into math classes, like everybody was really to themselves, and I don't know, that's not necessarily the best thing. So like try to connect with students in class, like don't make this seem like a journey that you're on your own, I feel like when you have someone in class that you're constantly talking to, you get an idea of where they're at and you get an idea of where you're at, and it feels a little less lonely that way, and at least what I love about Adelante and Black Collegians is we already have that network. You get me? You already have that network of students that are in Adelante, And so maybe you might take a math class with someone in the Adelante program, you know? It might make the journey a little easier. Maybe you miss a day of class, it can help you out with the notes. Or, yeah, like I said, it's just, it's always helpful having just people in your circle. And for you to really immerse yourself in this math space, like I think it's important for you to communicate with others and really be about wanting to get through this kind of little rough patch that is math, you know? Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
To have that sort of community, and both Adelante and Black Collegians programs already have that well established.
Exactly, you know? So it's like, it's there, like use it, you know?
Yeah.
Use it, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you had to give advice to yourself when you first started in this career, or as a student, what would you tell your past self?
Oh man, I wish there were a lot of things I would have told my past self. I think one thing is telling myself, I guess, to slow down, or to not purely focus on just my academics. Because when I was at UCLA and taking on, like, you know, it was like three math classes a quarter essentially. Like, my whole thing is I felt like that was enough. I felt like showing up to class, doing the homework, doing the work, I felt like that was enough, right? I felt like that's all I had to do. That was my only responsibility. But again, like, the purpose of college is so that at the end of this experience that we're putting ourselves through, to have a job lined up for ourselves, you know, or have something that's gonna allow us to sustain ourselves. And so my biggest regret was always not looking out for internships earlier on, you know. But I think that's kind of just the experience being first generation. Like, you don't know these things, you know. To you, showing up to class, that's enough, you know. Like, in my mind, like I said, that's what I thought. That's all I had to do. Just show up to class, do the work, worry about the job search once you graduate, you know. But now that I've graduated, I realized like how much that decision has really hurt me, you know. And it's made kind of like looking out for job opportunities a little bit more difficult. But I think that's a big one, you know, like setting some time to the side for like professional growth, you know, and seeking internships. Like, that's the way to do it. So even right here, like when I meet with my students that come in here, I tell them all the time, you know, like once you transfer out, like that first year that you're there, cool, like get through the fall semester, that's fine. But in that little December time frame, start looking for internships, you know, like you want to set yourself up for success. And I feel like when you're looking out for those internships early on, like you're making that path for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's something I wish I would have told myself earlier on, you know? So yeah, that's something I'd like to share with, I guess, everybody watching.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the STEM mailing list tries to stay up to date with all of the internships and opportunities that can give benefits to students. So being part of the program, you can take advantage of these resources, to not sleep on them.
Yeah, hop on it, you know, like start as early as you can. Like, community college is the best time, if you ask me, you know. Like, once you start building that bone right now, like by the time you transfer out and you like really want to get into the groundwork of looking for internships, it'll be like second nature for you, you know.
Have a good foundation on it.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, like, that's the other thing, you don't want to transfer and then it's like your first time doing this either, you
Just
know.
repeating.
Yeah, and that's fine, you know, but if we can avoid instances like that, like, let's do it, you know.
Yeah. How many hours would you recommend for STEM students to study outside of class? Since you mentioned that you and your personal experience, and even my personal experience, my first year, I only went to class and left. So how many hours would you say students should spend outside of class to really take all the concepts and study them?
That's a tough one. I mean, I I hate to say it, but I guess just like a lot, you know. Make sure you're studying a lot. It's a little hard, you know. Like, even in community college, like, we all have different circumstances. We all have different responsibilities. So I feel like it's really hard to kind of say like, oh, you should study 8 hours, because I feel like that's a little unfair. What if you only have 2 hours in your day to commit to your studies, you know? So I'd say like if you're in a situation like that where you're really strapped for time, like anytime you have downtime, like make sure you're looking at your material, you know? Like even right now that I'm in my master's program and I'm working 40 hours a week, like that's what I do to make sure I'm on top of my studies, you know? Any time that I have some, I guess, freedom, like it's going to my graduate studies, you know? So it's I guess, yeah, like just looking out for those opportunities where you have free time to kind of commit it to your studies, you know. But if you're not that person, then I mean, like, if you could study all day, go for it, you know. Yeah.
It works different.
Yeah, it works differently for everybody, you know. It's case by case, but yeah, just a lot. Let's study a lot.
As much as you can.
Yeah. I like that. As much as you can. Yep.
What would you say then is your opinion on students focusing only on the grade and not caring about learning the material itself?
I get it, you know. I totally understand that sentiment. And me personally, I'm not against students feeling that way, but you want to be cautious, you know. Like me personally, like I'll just be honest, like my history classes, you know, I kind of just did them. I don't feel like I really retained a lot from them, but it's because, at least in my position, again, I'm going into STEM. I'm gonna study math, and I didn't really feel like history contributed too much to my studies, you know. And again, like community colleges, at the end of the day, to me, it's a system. We got to know how to play it, you know. And so, if a student just wants to get by, like I totally understand that. But again, like you want to be cautious, and like this specifically for my psychology majors, like a lot of times I meet students who just want to get past that stats class, right? And like I mentioned, I get it, I get that sentiment, but like let's really sit down and think about it. Like, is this stats class going to help us out in the future? If you're planning on doing grad school, 100%. If you're doing psychology, you have to do research. So you want to make sure you're like retaining that information, you know? Because it's going to help you out later on down the line. But even like for me it was English. For a moment I was like, oh, like why should I care about my English class, right? But like now that I'm older, like I realize the importance of English, you know, especially like me, someone that's trying to be like a data analyst or a data scientist or work as a research analyst at a school. Like English teaches you how to communicate, you know, and for roles like that, you're gonna want to be able to communicate a lot of these quantitative things you're talking about, you know. And so yeah, like I get it, but also understand that risk, you know? Understand that risk of kind of like treating that classroom in a certain way, you know? But yeah, I get it, but like I said, just be cautious, you know?
So just to introspect a little, is this course going to be important for me in the future? Then you would say that defines whether you should really try to take the material.
Yeah. Okay. I love that, Abby. You're killing it. Yep.
Just some questions for fun. What is your go-to song or podcast to listen to on your way to work, if there's any?
I don't really listen to too many podcasts, but like lately I love listening to like just music that reminds me of like my parents. Like these days I don't really get to be around them too much, so like that usually entails listening to like Juan Gabriel, you know, or like Los Caminantes, just anything that reminds me of like my mom or my dad. Yeah, like I think that's like my favorite thing to listen to in the morning, because it's like, oh, it's a reminder of them, you know. But yeah, I'd say definitely some of that.
So in that sense, because of that sentiment, you'd say that listening to these songs on your way to work kind of affects your mood, or it builds like an important little bit of your day-to-day life?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gets my mind in the right like headspace, you know. Like I think about my parents, and you know, I love my parents, so I think it's nothing but joy. But also it's like I guess also a reminder as to like all these things that I'm doing, you know, like ultimately it's for them. Like not only for me, of course, but like for them, you know.
Yeah. Outside of work and your master's program, Are there any hobbies or activities that you like to do on your free time?
Yes. Oh, I love playing video games.
Nice.
Like right now, I'm playing Fallout 2. I'm really enjoying that game right now. So again, anytime I have free time, that's probably what I'm gravitating towards. But with school, not not too much these days. But also going out to eat. Like I love trying out different restaurants. So yeah, I think those are like two of my main hobbies. Like going out to eat, trying new spots, and then like playing video games as well. And then as far as like activities go, like I guess spending time with my family.
That's
You
cool.
know, yeah, I like to make at least 1 or 2 days out the week where I go and see them and like really get to spend some time with them. You know, it kind of grounds me a bit.
Yeah, you do need that kind of home space.
Yes,
in your mind.
exactly. Yeah, I know, 'cause it's home. You know, you don't wanna
Yeah.
forget where you come from.
Using one word, could you describe the subject you tutor in? Well, in general, because you do tutor a lot of different math subjects. So in one word, could you just kind of condense all of them?
Oh, if we're just talking about math, I think like one word to describe it, like rewarding. Rewarding. I
That's
think
a good one.
Yeah, I think anytime you get through a math class, like you, and it goes good, it's definitely a rewarding feeling, you know, like, oh, dude, like I got through that, you know, like, yeah, rewarding for sure.
If you were to describe SMC or all of these other community colleges out there in just one word,
Opportunity, 100% opportunity.
can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, like I said, for me, community college was almost like a second chance, you know? For me, it was a second chance at education. Like I said, in high school, I got rejected by every single college I applied to. And that's a little disheartening, you know, like getting those rejection letters. But, you know, like I didn't give up. I felt like education wasn't completely out the picture for me. And so, you know, my second shot was community college. It was my second chance, and it made so many opportunities for me. You know, like second go around when it was time to transfer and we were submitting like my transfer paperwork. Like I got admitted to every college I applied to. So it was like, you know, a complete 180.
Yeah,
But yeah, opportunity, 100%.
excellent. For another question for fun, if you could have any superpower based on math in your field of study, what would it be?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it would probably be to convert anything in my life into a convex optimization problem. Just because, you know, a convex optimization problem is going to guarantee there's a solution, you know? There is some global extrema, and I'd probably like the ability to have something like, I don't know, gradient descent, kind of like help me navigate those tasks at hand, you know, to push me in the direction that's gonna benefit me the most, essentially. You know, it's like right now I think the school, I want to maximize my learning, right? Treat it as a convex optimization problem, or if I want to minimize the time, my studying time, hey, just turn it into a convex optimization problem, you know? Yeah, that's definitely what it would be.
It's a very interesting choice.
Oh, yeah.
I think that sums up all of our questions. Thank you very much for the interview, Daniel.
I got you, Abby. Thank you for the opportunity and the platform.